You guys understood.
Welcome to another episode of Above Average Black Men. Yours truly, Chris Pickett Sr.
Chris Jr., as always, here to empower, inspire, and uplift the community here with another great conversation that we are going to have. You know, got my dad, my brother. We're here to talk about the holidays today. I know Devin's still getting locked in over here, setting some things up. So I'm going to steal his part. Like, follow, subscribe, share, interact. We're on so many platforms right now, you know, whether that is Spotify, Podbean, Facebook, YouTube. Am I missing anything? I feel like I am.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. That's
Podbean.
a new one. I always feel like I forget that one. It's always one. But I'm running through the list, slowly but surely getting there.
I don't forget.
But yeah, I'm excited. You know, we're in the holiday season here.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the impact of Christmas. And that is such a, Devin and I just want to talk, it's a broad topic.
Yes.
And we're going to cover as many as we can tonight.
Yeah. I think we're going to try to squeeze as much as we can as an hour. I thought about that on my way over here, how, like, the impact of Christmas, man, where do we start? Like, did we talk about the commercialized side of it or kind of the true meaning of Christmas? Because it's easy to talk about, you know, because each year it's like it gets more and more about the presents and Santa Claus and not really kind of the idea of, you know, we just did a toy drive. And for us, it's about being able to help other people. Like,
yeah, because I do want to talk about that toy drive.
And that, like, giving. I think that is kind of what we grew up on, honestly, is like Christmas isn't even necessarily about the receiving of gifts. Yeah, that's nice, but the giving part feels just as good, if not better, you know, being able to provide something to somebody that may or may not be in need, but you know what I mean? It's something that they appreciate and find value in. I think that is where kind of a shift has taken place over the years. It's more just like, gimme. What am I getting?
Well, I love Christmas. I do. So I do.
I'm the Grinch. I'm like,
and I agree with you. However, I think Christmas is what you allow it to become. And I do agree there's people who kind of fell into that trap. But to me, Christmas is about how you feel about it. Like, one, I like Christmas because we were out last night. We went out last night, your mom and I, and everybody's just nicer at Christmas time. Everybody's just nicer. There's nicer people. I don't know why.
After Black Friday.
They're just nicer. I mean, I don't know if it's the music playing them more. I don't know if it was the festive atmosphere because they got the lights up and everything. But everybody's just nice. It's serene. It's quiet, man. You know, it's not quiet. Which, I mean, it's different from the regular hustle and bustle. People holding doors. People saying, you know, it is. It's just a special time of the year, man.
I mean, you get the music going, and it's the most wonderful time of the year. You know, the people generally are in a good mood. And again, I think
I'm over chestnuts roasting about open fire.
It's because people, you know what it is, though. Because people know they about to get something. That's what it is.
I just think
they're like, I can't wait till the gifts start rolling in.
I do. I think. I mean, it's definitely a huge lift financially because I started to stop at the dollar store today and it was crowded. I said, man, everybody came in at the same time. Lee said, man, it's been like this all week. She said, I don't know where they get the money from. So it is a boost to the economy. You know, it does because people, you know, and is in line in 48 hours what Eddie Murphy says in the stock market. And they asked him, why did he invest in pork bellies? In the wintertime, it didn't make sense. And pork belly stock went through the roof. He said, because, you know, black people going to buy that G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. They're going to spend money at Christmas time. And we do. Yeah, because that was a big thing. So we do. So it is a boost in the economy. I think, to your point, it is an opportunity to teach your kids giving. Like, we do the toy drive. And we can talk about how we feel about it. I do want to explore that. But I think, to me, I do it because I like making people happy, man. I like giving back. I do think Christmas brings it out in the best of people. However, and, you know, I know you guys don't read them, but I wrote this in my devotion about, you know, how we always say, you know, Jesus is the reason for the season. But it's not just the season. It should be year-round.
You might need to start sending out a bridge version of that. I'll try to just skim through and get the highlights. But not spark notes. But no, it's definitely.
But it should be.
I have a question. do you think or feel at all like just Christmas has changed over time? Like in terms of maybe back in the day, it was more about, getting together with your family and giving and doing all these different things. But then now, it's so commercialized. It's like, this sale, make sure you get this, make sure you buy this. You don't really love your wife unless you buy this. Like, it's like,
I don't think nobody. No, I mean, I think it is definitely commercialized, but I think every holiday is commercialized now. They've taken any chance to make money they do. However, I still think it's what you make it. I agree with what you said, but for me, I don't look at it that way because I don't allow it to become that for me.
Yeah, and I think I'm looking at it in a grander sense of like outside of myself, I guess. Like, again, just thinking of people that you may have grown up with, and around. Like, I'm sure y'all all viewed and thought of Christmas differently, versus where like now, it's more gimme, gimme, mimi.
Well, but even now, people think of it differently. Like, I'm in the toy store for so long. I'll trunk my car, did in person. This is, I think, my fourth year down at North Philly where I grew up at. Or I forget the year term. But I've been down there, and it's cool because I'm giving back to my neighborhood. I see it as me reinvesting in my neighborhood where I grew up at, and a lot of the people that we serve are grandkids of people I grew up with. We were able to kind of go out this year and get people from different parts of the city, but it's pretty cool when you have people come in from West Oak Lane, from Cheltenham, from Norristown, and they come in and you see the faces on them where people cry. One thing that I was really impressed in, and I talked about it, people talked about it, was the people who volunteered. It was amazing when you saw the attitudes of volunteers. The patients, everybody was laughing and joking and just kind of, hanging out, doing their thing. So to me, I think that's Christmas. Doing stuff with no expectations, just doing it because, it's a good thing and it's the right thing to do. I think that's very important. Now, I do think it's commercialized that people kind of get carried away. It's about buy, or the gifts have to be a certain value. And, I do. Yeah, I do agree with that.
Sales everywhere.
Yeah, I do agree. But again, it's what you make it, man. To me, I've always made Christmas.
I understand that. And I think that's where I can appreciate it, that you made it for us, where it wasn't too much centered around necessarily what we got. We had a dollar store Christmas one year. And that was just it wasn't a whole Christmas. It was a whole story. I was about to say it was like a prank, but it definitely was one of those things where it was teaching us to be to be appreciative. Like, are you going to be as happy for these dollar store gifts that I'm giving you? The remote control car that's attached to a string, so you got to chase the car. So what's the point of the remote? But I think like no, like I think. But again, it was a test for us. It was just to see, like, man, like, do my kids get it? Like, do they understand? Like, all right, this is not about the value of the gift, and like we doing what we can within our means. I don't think everybody looks at it
because Christmas is also a chance to change lives. Like there was a young lady, one of the last young ladies who came. Somebody was up to who was with us, and they saw her and her son in the playground. And I don't know if they stopped, pulled over, just started talking to her, whatever. But they were talking to her. She's a single mom. She could use them all for Christmas. She came in, and we got her signed and got her checked in, and she was like, "Oh, I can't believe it." She got stuff, and then we gave her the electric car. And she was almost crying. Everything. She was so appreciative. There was a lady there who was an influencer, so to speak. We got to do this on TikTok. So just to see the reaction of people, that people are generally, grateful and humble. And the thing, to your point, people were amazed because they kept, some people were like, well, how much does it cost? How much do I got to give you? So people did come with that, but for the most part, man,
and that speaks to me volumes in a sense, because it's like, man, people have gotten used to.
There's always a catch,
right? Yeah. It's
and I agree.
Have just looked at everything now, where it's like, man, nobody's doing anything just off the strength of being kind.
Well, I didn't get offended by it. I didn't get offended by it. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
I mean, I'm not saying it was necessarily a personally shot at you that, or some people
think like it's
but I just think even just that looks at or paints a picture of just the broader society as a whole. You know what I mean? Like that. Not too many people are just doing things off the strength of, I want to be kind to man or like my neighbor.
But
More
even,
so, what am I going to get out of this?
I look at Saturday, and Saturday was also the volunteers. I think.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because we get messages that come in every now and then, and my mom just is like, "I'm glad you got the dollar store message."
I think there's three things that I thought Saturday represented that I think people just didn't. We miss sometimes because we close to it. One, everybody was amazed that the whole family was there. That was like everybody was like, man, I think that's so cool. People were saying, man, how do you do it? People were just, everybody was happy, having a good time. It wasn't like it was a forced march. I think the second thing was not one person came to me and said a volunteer made them feel bad. And the whole purpose of doing it the way we're doing it was to allow people to keep their dignity and pick stuff out and not pick it out for them and rushing through. And everybody was just beaming about how they were treated.
Yeah.
Because
I think we got a bunch of people that were in there and were genuinely trying to help others. It wasn't on like, I'm here and this is about me making sure that I feel good or doing these things that are supposedly obligated because people were there part of a nonprofit. But I think people were in there genuinely wanting to help others. And you can feel that and see that when it's genuine and coming from a place of just authenticity. I think that's what really makes the toy store and donating and things like that a success. And to me, and I'm sure to all of us, that symbolizes Christmas in a way. It's less about what are we going to get and more so like what are we going to get.
But for some people, that's a Christ-like moment. For some people, like it was a lady I was talking to, and she hunted me down. She wanted to find out who was kind of, for lack of a better term, responsible for it. And again, this is the first Christmas she had in a while. There was the lady that we all adopted as a family, that she had 9 grandchildren. So I was talking to her, she's responsible for these 9 grandchildren, and she's not a young lady, so to be able to do that, it to me is another way I think Christmas has an impact because people see there's still people in this country who care.
Yeah. I'll say with age, though, certainly things have changed and adjusted with my perception of kind of Christmas as well. Because I can't sit here and act like it wasn't a point in time where when I was a kid, I wasn't getting up early and anxious to get downstairs. Like, and just kind of going back to that dollar store Christmas. I knew we wasn't broke. It had to be something else. We must have been taking a trip or something. But no, I think it's still like... you instilled it enough in us at an early age where it evolved over the years. Like where, again, it was like, yeah, it's okay and nice to get these things. But one, make sure you appreciate them. And two, like, again, you should feel just as much joy, if not more joy, than giving those things.
But I think it's a natural, I'm not going to say natural evolution because some people never evolve, but it's an evolution because I think as a kid, you go through the excitement stage. As much as people try to act like it's not, it is about the gifts because you ask for stuff, you want to get what you ask for. Not so much the value of the gift, but what you ask for, your expectation is to get it. And then as you get a little older, when you do get into like the preteens and the teens, the value does kind of come into fit. Now, some people will lie and say, but it does. If you want a pair of Air Jordans and somebody give you a pair of Bear Jordans, it does. So it does come into play. But then hopefully, prayerfully, you get to a place where you mature and you realize it's about family. Yeah. It's about blessing other people. It's about representing Christ, what Christmas is all about.
So I got a question for you guys related to the impact of Christmas. It may not necessarily be in line 100% of some of the things that we just talked about, but kind of with Christmas over the years, I think, we grew up in the church, so it's like we knew and understood that, again, Christmas is Jesus' birthday, and like that's really what it's about, the story of his birth. But then, like, the other side of that, for people who don't necessarily believe in that, they just get the Santa Claus part of it. Nick. Yeah. Like, so I guess, how is it for you approaching that, growing up, or not even just growing up, raising us? Because I think that's something to talk about, too, is this idea of Santa Claus and this mythical guy that they tell us to right. But then it's like parents out here.
We had black Santa Claus.
We had black Santa Claus. But it's like, but again, it's like the idea of like it's this guy doing it, and I understand creating this fantasy for kids, but at the same time, it's like, man, in a small kind of way, you like discrediting the parents that are working hard and making all this stuff happen.
But see, this is where I'm different. And I'll give it to you two aspects. Like there's some people, Christians, who kind of frown at toy store because you're taking over to shine away from. Yeah. So we'll get to and I have a response for them too. I'll start there, but you're not, because if Christ is about giving, you're giving. We're not sitting there saying you got to believe in Beelzebub, the devil, or something. No, we're giving. We're giving families who don't have. Families who struggle. It's about letting the have give to the have-nots for listening, and that's what the kingdom is about: reaping and sowing and reaping. It's about giving. It's about blessing individuals. It's about being selfless and not selfish. So, I'm not promoting up there. Worship Santa Claus. No, we don't. We bless people with gifts, which is what happens around this time of year, and we do it in such a way that it does represent Christ. Okay, you can represent Christ without beating people over the head, jumping on them, strangling them. You got to hear this before I give it to you. You can. And you can bless somebody. You can change somebody's life.
Shelf is the devil.
Yeah, just by the way you treat them. But now the other aspect of it is, I'm from the old school, and my parents were the same way. Eventually, your kids are going to grow up and figure out where the stuff comes from. If your kid is 16 years old, still thinking Santa Claus, with stuff, you got a bigger problem. You got a bigger problem.
You might be shocked.
I might be. But I'm thinking, I knew it was going to come a time when y'all going to figure out where it came from. And you'll realize that we put the hard work in. Just like when you went to Disney, you was like, man, I didn't realize y'all paid so much. Yeah,
but I went to Disney on my own. I was oh my goodness.
So kids do come, for lack of a better term. They get they get the revelation, man. They do figure out that, my mom and dad went all out. We had the skylight. We didn't have a chimney. He would leave the skylight open and stuff to make us think Santa Claus came down. But when I got older, my mom and dad busted butts.
And that's what I'm saying.
And I understood that.
Yeah.
But they didn't take it away from me. I think, and this is where I know people out there going to post and scream, and, I think that's part of what's wrong with today's young people. We don't teach them to have an imagination. We don't teach them to dream. We smack them with reality soon they understand English. Your mama, your daddy.
I bought these gifts.
Yeah. So now what you say? I need you to be forever, begrudging to me. Now you owe me, but no, you don't. That defeats the whole purpose.
I think that was actually a really great point in terms of like allowing kids
to dream, to have an imagination. And not get smacked with reality soon you start, because they already learned about murder and mayhem at an early age. Yeah. So that's the one fantasy that they have, man, they can hold on to, and they'll grow out of it. Kids are not, I'm not saying you grew up and they bow down to the Easter Bunny I think to me, my humble opinion, and people could say this, and they try to hit you with it's not a God, because I'm not worshiping it. It's a false idol when you worship it. I'm not. Some people worship money. Ain't got nothing to do with Christmas. So what I'm saying is, I find that I look at my imagination, my creativity, because I did that. Because we had those things growing up. Because then when I got older, you kind of come to a point where you realize that it's not real.
Yeah, I think it gives you that perfect balance of still having an imagination and creativity, but then also in knowing and understanding there's a real side of things.
Because you can teach both, though.
You can see behind the curtain in a way.
You can teach both. You can teach people that. There's people who got blessed who we served 38 families and 78 kids. We had 50 registered, so we kind of came up short there, 12 short. We had like 114, so we came up a little short there. And I could be off some because people walked up and things, but I'm just rounding out. But just think about that. That's just all we served. And the people who came in there generally needed it, appreciated it. So just isn't that what it's supposed to be about? Is about helping people. Isn't that what the church does? The difference was they didn't have to belong to a particular church. We didn't get it. No, we came in and we blessed them. We made people left it with dignity, smiling, laughing, not feeling like, oh man, these people made me feel like I was, begging or something. No, people left it with a good time. They picked out what they wanted. It got gift wrapped. They had great fellowship, but that's part of what being a Christian is about.
Yeah, and I think,
nobody mentioned Santa Claus. We didn't have a big Santa Claus up in there. No,
and that's what's actually kind of funny, and I think ties into kind of my question and also the show is just the impact of Christmas. It doesn't necessarily have to be about Santa Claus, or
Nope.
necessarily even have to be if you don't necessarily, or just kind of about the religious side of it. Again, for us, we know and understand what that is, but I think in a bigger or larger sense, Christmas is really about the giving part of it, the family, the community. I think in some regards, I don't know, I feel like we've probably gotten away from that to an extent. Like, just because, like, I'm sure back in the day when it was Christmas for you and your family, back in the day, I love saying that to you. It makes me feel younger. But no, when with your family and your neighborhood, like, I'm sure y'all did things together. Like, I'm sure your friends, you've said this on plenty of occasions, like, they know that they could come to your house, or like your parents were buying gifts for neighbors' kids. I don't feel like we do that as much.
Well,
anymore.
but I think, and I'll back up to
because it's definitely like just the circle.
One, I think the true essence of Christmas will always be about Christ, and whether you saved, whether you unsaved, the essence of Christmas will always be about that. And that's what produces the generosity, the kindness, the things that people do. So I think I just wanted to clarify that. I think and I hear people say, "Oh, we take the Christ out of Christmas," and I get what you're saying, but that if individuals are doing that, they're not worshiping God anyway. But I think if you celebrate Christmas, does not make you a pagan, unless you bow down to your Christmas tree, or I don't. I think sometimes we get carried away. So I think there's a balance in there. And as far as the Bible tells us, and I'm not going to get, but it tells us, to love your neighbor like you love yourself. That's the essence of what Christmas is supposed to be. It says love God with all your heart, but love your neighbor, more than you love yourself. That's the essence of Christmas, is saying that, what, Devin, here, no expectation you giving me something back, or because you spent $40, I got to get a $40 gift back. That's not what it's about. It's about people who can't, who do certain things that you can't help all year long. At least that time of year, you can make somebody feel better. That dad who is not working, who wants to do something for his kids, you make them feel better. That single mom who was busting her hump to try to make it, man, and things looking dumb because she got to choose between health insurance and car insurance and gas, and you can bless her to be able to give something from the kids, and it's coming from their mom or their dad. It's not coming from us.
Yeah.
We know what we did. That's another reason why you don't see news cameras, and we just do it. I do get a video made because I got a document, because people who donate or whatever want to see it. But no, we do it out the kindness of heart, which is, and for me, I can't speak for the boss, but I do this because of the Christ, but Jesus does in me. That kind of drives this whole thing, because it's hard work. You know because you help sort toys, we shopping. It's hard work. And nobody sees behind the scenes the stuff that your mom did. And, but like that day, everybody keeps talking about how well organized that day was. And it was. But there was a lot of work into the organization of that day.
So do you see at any point, I guess it's maybe for both of y'all, where like just Christmas gets more commercialized?
Yes.
I mean,
even think about it, like where I work at specifically, like right after Halloween is when you start hearing the Christmas music. You go to Neiman Marcus.
Not even Thanksgiving yet.
They're putting up the tree and everything. They're starting these deals for the holiday time. So I feel like it will be more commercialized to the point where people will forget the true meaning of it.
Well, because people realize that Christmas is a great opportunity to boost the economy. People realize that people will make a lot of sacrifices. Moms and dads will make, probably more so when I was growing up and when my parents were growing up, to buy stuff for their kids at Christmas time. People would sacrifice. People go into debt to get stuff at Christmas time. That's wrong, but I'm just saying because people is a big deal. But that again goes back to what you said, how much they really understand the essence of Christmas. Because if you're raising your kids the right way, the gift don't have to be $10,000. And your kids get it.
Yeah.
But to go in debt for $10,000 so you can give somebody $10,000 gift is ludicrous.
That just made me think of a video. I think it was like from last Christmas. Just these parents were pranking their kids. Like they were trying to get them a PS5.
Yeah.
And they put like a PS4 inside the box. So then when
I wouldn't even know the difference.
It's like the newer system versus the previous year.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean, I wouldn't know the difference.
They were so hyped to open up the box. You're like, PS5. Then take out the PS4, the older one, and the one kid starts crying. The youngest one, he crying. He takes the system and throws it against the wall.
See, that ain't happening.
I didn't see that.
Yo. So, but then the dad is like, y'all done lost y'all minds. Like,
But that's why we did it, and that was the purpose behind the infamous dollar store Christmas. It wasn't punishment. It wasn't. It was just to make sure you guys understood.
But I think that ties to what you were saying about just kind of being raised on what the true meaning or like the values that go into Christmas, and that it isn't about getting the biggest gift or the most expensive thing. Granted, we wanted to get the things that were on our list or that we wanted, but I think we naturally understood or knew you can't have everything, and it was more about giving. I felt great buying things for you, Mom, you, Dev, and Nicole, and knowing that y'all actually enjoyed it and liked it. Even more than kind of getting some of the things that I've gotten, like especially over the years. Like if I can give you something that's useful, that you appreciate that, like that means more than anything to me. Helping at the toy store and like just knowing that, right?
I like that a lot.
We're helping people that are in need. Kind of people who didn't think they were going to even have a Christmas, getting an opportunity to come in there and buy things. And then I think something that ended up kind of working out is even us being able to up the number of toys that per family or per kid. Like it just, those things I think really embody what Christmas is. And I don't know, we need to have a shift in where we can try to get back to that.
I will say for most people around this time, it's like a redemption period. Mm-hmm. Like they treat each other, or people treat each other with vitriol and like not that good throughout the year. Between this holiday, like Christmas and New Year's, it's like a redemption period where you can kind of not make up for it, but at least do some good and maybe start off on the right foot for next year.
One is a chance to show, like I was able to school. It's a school that comes. We were able to bless the school, and they actually gave toys away today. So it's like a trickle down effect. And I think the impact is one. I go back to what I said. There's a lot of people who don't see family, who when they see us, they think the Cosbys, they just not used to it. Everybody thinks it's some mystical thing. Like, what did you do? What did you do? Everybody's asked you, what did you do? This is who we are.
What did you do to your kids?
Well, because everybody's trying to figure out, because so many parents don't have that relationship with their kids. There's some I know. Like I give a shout out to Mike Waller. They always posting something when they're always doing something together. So there are families who do it, but there's a lot of families who this is foreign to them. So for them, one to be, not just see a family, but see a whole family giving back.
Yeah,
a whole family volunteering, giving back, man. People, the interaction with Mackenzie. Which is the next generation. Teach him, look, this is what we do. This is what we're doing, because Nicole was explaining it to him. Ain't no much he comprehends it, but just having
being around it.
And having an atmosphere with people coming in to see that, there's a lot of black men out there not grabbing themselves, not cursing, not out here and there's a lot of black men and black women who work together, contrary to what we always talk about on the show, who work together. So there was so many dynamics going on in that room that people were commenting on, to the fact that we gift wrapped. That people got their stuff gift wrapped and and it was no extra charge. The fact that people were carrying stuff down the hill for people, putting it in their cars. And that was kind of unprompted because we didn't instruct anybody to do it. I forgot that part of the plan, but they were doing it.
Yeah.
And the fact that even when it came to getting stuff set up, everybody played the role. And it looked, so everybody talked about how well organized it was. It looked like it because the stuff that happened behind the scenes, the sacrifices that people made, who gave. Your mom gave her time. You gave your time. You gave your time. We loaded up the night before. Yep. Put everything the night before. Man, yeah. Bill's 70 years old, man. My man Bill still, at 14 operations, man. He came down and set the registration table. And I don't want to say her name because I can't remember. Sophia. Mm-hmm. She came and we were talking about that, fit right in. She didn't come in, she came in, what you need me to do? Hey, what about this? What about that? I mean, and so that's what Christmas does that. Mm-hmm. Christmas, for whatever reason it is, it brings out the best of people. And this was the best one yet because now I didn't get one complaint. Usually every year I get somebody coming back, y'all should have did this, y'all. This year, everybody was so grateful, so humble, and it was an amazing time.
Do you think that spirit of Christmas can be like spread out throughout the year?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. We're talking about all of these great values and things that happen around Christmas. To me, it's like, man, we're certainly capable and possible, for us to to just be nice and kind to people and do things outside of yourself. But it just seems
I think
like
it can.
Man, what is it about?
It's slow, but just like what we did prompted other people. We did it. People prompted. There were 2 other programs that was blessed by what we did. Isaac took something back to Powell, Strawberry Mansion Powell, and then McClure School had it. So it got 2 other. So the trickle down effect is coming. When we first started, it was just us. So it is coming. The second thing is people we had those volunteers because people like, yo, I want to be a part. I want to I want to do something. I got people. Somebody walked up to me today was almost in tears because they couldn't make it. I knew I wanted to be there so bad, but other than I went out, we got sick and I couldn't be there. But I'm going to be there next year. I got people already saying, "Yo, I want to be a part of it." So yeah. So now, what you got to do is schedule stuff. Like, what's the next thing you could do during a year? Like, my goal is I want to get some of those same adults to go into school and read the kids. Go on and have we just go and we read the kids. The career cafe that you guys. I'm do more of those. So but you also got to give them opportunities because everybody don't know what to do. And this goes back to what I said. Well, what you talked about earlier is the trust relationship factor. When people are like, yo, how much this costs? You can't, you get people to do stuff when they see you're genuine, when you're authentic, as you said, when they see that you're trying to, you're trying to help people. Because there's a lot of people who probably been in that situation where they needed stuff and didn't have anywhere to go.
Mm. Yeah, and I think I don't know that when we speak about the impact of Christmas, again, I feel like we knew coming into this conversation that it can go in a lot of different directions. Yeah. And I think again that the spirit of giving is something that just kind of resonates with me. Like when we talk about the impact of Christmas, and I just even think about like to your point that you made and said, it seems to be where people's just mood changes. Like people are generally just nicer, and it's like, man, how do we take that and put that in other seasons? Well, and then I think parts of what you said is like providing opportunities for that space
and invite different people because you introduce different people to it, and it'll start to grow. But it's going to take time, but it will start to grow. For instance, I got an MOK service that I'm working on in January, so I'm gonna put it out there. So hopefully I get people to come to that. That's one way. After that we're gonna do. I got some career cafes I'm trying to get scheduled. You invite people out to that. And there's certain people who I invite. I know they're going to show up, but you get them to bring people, so it'll spread.
Yeah, I think what's even funny about the volunteering stuff is more so probably about people. When I'm talking about the Christmas spirit, people probably really about the gifts.
Yeah,
like not even the volunteer part. It's like getting people to show up is about. I don't know, like the people that were showing up that we were providing stuff for were there for gifts. And I think even when we're talking about doing something in January and volunteer, like it's hard to get people to show up for stuff like that.
But every year,
I'm not even talking about the volunteers. I'm talking about the people who actually need
But every
service.
year, like there was a young lady who came in, she got there early. And she said, hey, and she was sitting outside and she said, I'm sitting out here, I can help y'all. Because y'all giving me something for free, can I volunteer? And she came in and she helped set up. And then when the low, she started to go back out. I was like, no, man, we ready for you now. So some people do get it. I mean, you would hope more people would say, hey, what can I do? But some people do get it. And then there's some people who look around, and so I'm not putting them in the back, and they see a bunch of people and feel like, okay, my services are not needed.
Make them pay for it.
All these people are in there. And that's, what, everybody, that's so many people came, but you laughing. That's what I said.
No, that's a good
so many people came to me and said, well, what can I do? Some people offer me money. I said, yo, just do something nice for somebody else. Just pay it for it. Now, they say, I don't know. But that's what I was telling them, because people's like, well, all I got is $20. Nah, this stuff is already paid for.
$20, give me 20 minutes. I need you to do this.
But that's a good idea. Maybe next year we have volunteer opportunities.
I think so.
That's a good idea to say, hey, you can volunteer.
Like, you want to help a family?
That's a good idea.
Your family wants or needs some help? We need your services. We need you to assist us. Like,
that's a great idea.
I think that's a way to kind of continue that spirit of giving and make it grow. And, like, having even the people that are coming there and are in need, they got a way where they can give back in some type of way. Whether that's just with their time or just assisting in some type of way. So I do think that, and then I think that might even just kind of extend beyond Christmas. You know, if somebody has that example of like a thing that they can actually volunteer and be a part of, I think that may more than likely, you know, put them on that path of wanting to at least volunteer or showing them a way. Because we talk about a lot of different things on this show where about giving time to people and doing this and like doing that. But then there's people who don't have that example. They don't even see it. They don't know where to start. They don't know what that looks like.
That was the next point I was going to bring up, that, you know, that sometimes you got to give people an opportunity, you know, and they have to have an example. Everybody, you know, I mean, we assume that everybody knows. Some people don't know volunteer opportunity. Some people don't trust people.
So that's something we could do next year, like have more volunteer opportunities for like the upcoming year.
I mean, that part is on me because I have to start getting. I have to get more help. You know, there's things that
start a list
that I need to do better. You know, each year I kind of recruit people and it kind of falls through the crack, but I got to do better. Like for instance, you know, I need to recruit somebody to handle the toy part. And what I mean by that is go to locations and get boxes. Put boxes where we can put boxes to collect more toys. You know, somebody could take responsibility for that. You know, or talking to people about, yo, would you set up a box, and we can help collect. That's part of it. You know, I haven't solicited any stores at all. You know, I haven't approached a Walmart or anybody like that. So like, hey, we're doing this. You know, I haven't. You know,
you got a video now.
So I'm just saying, I haven't done that. So there's things that I need to do better because it is growing. And when things grow, one thing you have to do is learn to delegate. You know, and that's, you have to learn because you can't do it yourself. So now I know next year I got to kind of, okay, before next year, like when we get to like February, March, I have my first planning meeting and I can assign people stuff. Like you handle this, you handle that, and then we'll just check in.
You have people volunteer in shifts too.
Yeah. Well, no, I left that optional. I did. I left that optional. I told people you could come for, and it was funny because a lot of people volunteer for shifts but end up staying the whole day.
Right.
But I told people that, hey, you don't have to stay for the whole day. But a lot of people came in and they stayed for the whole, because the fellowship.
It was just good to be a part of and help people.
And positive conversations, man. It was a nice, if you want to put it, was a nice vibe. But just to me, seeing the faces of people, you know, the faces of people who were getting stuff, man, and you know, and just was so happy to get it.
Yeah,
you know, they weren't in there like, oh, you know, and so but that's what it's all about, and that's again takes me back to the impact of the season, because that person now knows that, yo, there's some nice people out here. That everybody not to dog me out, you know. And to your point, hopefully they pay it forward.
Yeah, and it's funny to talk about the impact of Christmas. I feel like we've definitely kept it on the positive side of things, but I mean, it's certainly when we talked about earlier the commercial side of it. I think that kind of brings. But kind of some of the ugly part out of Christmas.
But isn't that all holidays?
What, the commercialization brings out the ugly side?
Look I don't know. I mean, Valentine's Day, you know, if you got low self-esteem, makes you feel really bad. If you don't have somebody give someone, they do. People
for the same thing with gifts though too. In that sense, it's like,
I agree.
If you're not getting these flowers and this type of gift, like, what are you doing with your life?
You got an Xbox. This person got a PlayStation. You're like, oh, why didn't I get that? Or they got a PC that they can play games on.
Yeah, I agree with all that, but it goes back to my original statement. It's what we allow to become for us. It is, because if you teach your kids like I taught you, it becomes generational.
And I guess in my mind too, like I get the root of it is just trying to figure out, like, man, when did it kind of take that shift, or was it always like this where just
well, the root of it is easy.
The money, yeah.
Well, not just money. The root is more so status, which includes money. You know, all of a sudden, status became a big deal.
What'd you get for Christmas?
Yeah, or like where you live at now. It became a big deal. You know, and then, you know, as I was watching, it was TV, granted, but I was watching something on TV, late night TV, and these two guys were talking, and they were talking about the real meaning of Christmas. And one of the guys said, you know, matter of fact, I take it back. It was a live show. So they were having a real discussion. And one of the guys said he found himself now, you know, he's trying to teach his kids the real meaning of Christmas. And he gave an example. His kid is 16 years old. The kid wanted a car, you know. So they didn't have the money to buy the car or whatever. So the kid was working, and so all the kid's friends had cars. So the guy was like, now he finds himself competing with the dude, the father down the street. which that should never happen. That should never happen. But he says he found himself competing with the father down the street.
That's a whole other thing too.
Yeah, it is. But that's the dark side of what you said, because we get like that. But hopefully, prayerfully, you have a good enough relationship with your kids that you're not. Because I can't. Because first of all, you can't always compete with the guy down the street because he may have more money than you had. That's just a fact of life, Or you don't know what's going on in his house. There may be a reason why he spent that money because he's trying to overcome something. He's trying to compensate for something. I think it's so many things you got to factor in.
Or he just went into debt for that.
But there's so many things you got to factor in. To me, the most important thing for me, again, I say it again, the fact that all y'all were there Saturday, to me was powerful. Yeah. It was powerful to me to have all my kids there, to have my wife there. To me, that's what Christmas is about: families working together to make a difference. Yeah. That's the key ingredient to Christmas.
What you just said kind of resonated with me and sticks out a lot about kind of the competitive part of Christmas, where this might be kind of silly or extreme, but when people are doing the lights on their houses, and
now you sound like Nicole.
Now you like Nicole. My house got to be the brightest. My house got to look like this.
That's what Nicole said. Nicole said, it's funny because when we first moved around and nobody put up Christmas lights. Now look what you started.
Now it's a competition. You got to have a light show.
It ain't a competition. Now look you started. Everybody. No, but I got that from my dad though. My dad put up lights every year.
But I mean, I was just saying that as an example. In a way, it does seem like some people compete with the lights. Not saying that's what y'all do.
Well, no, but you're right. Not just lights,
but the gifts. That example of like, man,
I want to be able to say I gave my kid this,
right? Or what did you get your son? Wow, so I need to get my son this, or I need to get my daughter this.
Well, I never had that problem.
No, I mean, I'm not saying, but there are probably plenty of other people out there like that, where it's like it's more of a flex.
But it's not just Christmas. There's people who I'm gonna have to throw the bigger birthday party.
Yeah,
there's people out there. I got to get a better birthday gift. There's people out there. I got to have a better Halloween costume.
Or the prom send-off.
Yeah, the prom send-offs. So to me, in my mind, it's like, all right,
even now with little kids,
man. What does that say about the impact of Christmas? Is it necessarily a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it something where it's mixed at the moment? Like, are we even all on the same page when it comes to what we think Christmas is about? I think one thing that we know is that people's attitudes may be a little bit brighter, but man, what is really the true impact?
I think the answer to your question is I think it's more good than bad. I do think, but I think that's in anything you do. No matter what you have, the minute you introduce human beings to it, there's going to be good and bad. I don't care what it is. That's just the fact of life.
Human nature.
The minute you introduce human beings to it, there's going to be good and bad. I think as far as I think the global impact is greater than the negativity that comes from it. I do. I think social media. I hate to bring it up because I know how you feel, but it is. I think social media contributes to a lot because they only show you the negative. They're not going to show you the people crying because of what they got. They're going to show you the gold digger because she didn't get enough. That's what's going to go viral. That's what's going to go viral.
I saw a little girl complaining she got a Tesla on her birthday.
Yeah, and that's
I didn't want a Tesla.
But that's what's going to go viral. So I think it is, but I think it's also how we conduct ourselves. We have to set the example. We can't say, okay, I believe in this, I believe in that, and then we doing different things contrary to what we say. I believe in helping people, but I'm not going to do this at Christmas time. Just because it's Christmas time. Nah. Just like Thanksgiving. Somebody starving is not just starving on Thanksgiving, they're starving year round. So that's another thing that we need to do better. It needs to be year round, not just Thanksgiving, giving out turkeys and stuff like that. People deserve a turkey more than one time a year. So there's a lot of things about it, but I think Christmas to me outshines a lot of holidays because it is a lot of positive stuff. The positivity that goes around at Christmas time is unique. It's rare. It's rare, man.
It really is. I don't think it is too many holidays like it, where people just kind of come together and are doing other things for individuals or people. But it's still, I think, the other side or the ugly side of it too, where it has gotten extremely commercialized. I do feel as though it's going to get continuously kind of leaning into that. And it's going to be less about what we were saying, where it's going to be less about what you're giving and doing for people and more about, what did Santa get you? You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's gonna get worse.
This must be a family show tonight.
Yeah, it is a family show.
Like,
Shout out to my cousin Brittany. Christmas became commercialized for some people. Yes, for some people. I feel like a large group.
I think it's majority of people.
But no, I don't think it's majority. But I think human nature is because we live. I think people forget that we live in a country. It's a capitalistic country, man.
I'm sorry. I just thought about why family members are watching. We're talking about Christmas. They
Everybody's trying to get it. No, but this country is built on capitalism, and people forget that. And so whenever people can, they're going to try to make money. That's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. It's like, I hate this commercial. And this is my little sidebar. The guy, I already hate the voice. The guy that's selling stuff. Come down here. No license, no money, no car. You know,
come down. Yeah, no license, no money.
No. It's a guy. It's a black guy they hired. He like a circus barker. And he just
on the radio.
Yeah. You're driving your car. Yeah. Oh. So, but now he's doing a commercial. He's doing a commercial for a lawyer about cancer. I think that is the worst commercial in the world.
He do all commercials.
So you got prostate cancer. So you got lung cancer. So you got breast cancer. Come on. But that's my point. When people think they can make money, it don't matter what it is. And Christmas is no different. It's no different, man. People say, okay, I can make money. I was in the studio. Everywhere I go, I get into this conversation. Yo, that many people don't need a big screen TV every Christmas. But when you walk into these stores, they're all over the front of the store, man, and people buy them. That's not what Christmas is about, but they do. So I'm agreeing with you, but we allow it to be like that because we fall prey to it.
Look, I mean, if you fall prey to, when that's literally everything that you see on social media,
but
TV,
you don't have to fall prey to
the radio.
But you don't have to do it because
of social about this, TV. Like, you know, man, you got a significant other, and you see that Ring commercial, and it's just like, hey, you want to settle down with that special somebody? Do you want this little rock here that says,
I'm already settled down.
I'm kind of interested, or do you want this one to really show that you truly love her? Like, I think that's where almost like the.
But that's on you though. But it's just like when you. And I love this analogy.
It's not even just. But it's like when it's your peers and friends.
But it's on you too.
Around you,
but it's on you. It's just like when you go to buy a car. This is my budget. My budget is $45,000. I'm getting this car, and you tell them what you want, and you know, they take you to the top of the line car. They take you live with 14 speakers, man.
But they driving in your neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, but that's up to you if you don't get suckered in. That ain't their fault if you get. And it's the same thing if you get suckered into what Christmas is, the commercialization of Christmas. That's on you. You can't blame anybody because you got to make a decision.
Some people just don't know any better.
Man, if you with somebody and they tell you that if you don't get them a certain size, that's not love, dude. That's I'm sorry.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, that is another episode. You know what? I do for your mom because I love your mom. That's why I do for your mom.
I'm not going to.
I don't do it because she puts you get this or else. No. Yeah, that whole thing about that, man.
But I mean, so you're talking about
a kid lunch pail got tomorrow, so I was cracking up. Anyway, and it's mostly women who I work with. See, so they don't care about it. But then again, it's not a dick. But because you know the whole dick thing.
I know.
But that's the perfect example. Though. It's what you allow. Like the latest thing is, and this is another sidebar. This is a whole nother show. Did somebody ask me a question, and they were showing me this whole thread around it, where there's a group of women who feel like. If you take them on a date, you got to pay for the babysitter, and you got to get them a to-go box for the kid.
That's insane.
So no, but how this ties to what I'm about to say is, it's what you go for. So if you sit there and say this is what, like, I'm never gonna allow Christmas to become commercialized. And Christmas is kind of interesting for me because I always go over. We say this is the budget, I always go over. That's just what I do. But to me, it's not about going over. It's about because I like to give. It's like I like to see people smile. I want to see my wife be pleased. I want to see because there was times when we didn't have. Now we have. We can look at each other now and say, "What you want for Christmas?" Well, we don't need anything. That's part of it. I mean, yeah. So
exactly why I'm not getting y'all nothing. That's a good point. But we actually did have a good comment. And I actually would love to spend probably the rest of the time kind of talking about or discussing this, but just about how around holiday times, even more so Christmas, people tend to get depressed because they've lost family members or loved ones. And then also kind of some of the pressures of giving, kind of tie into that as well.
I was talking to somebody today, and they were asking me questions at work because their sister lost her husband, and their sister's going through stuff. See, I know you're a Christian. We were having a conversation, and I get it because I know I get sometimes around holiday time, but I also know you got to focus on what you have and who's there. Because, you next thing you know, you're in a deep, deep, deep depression that you can't get out of. I wish my mom and dad were still, but they're not. But I have y'all. I have Mackenzie. You got to focus on who's here. Because the more you focus on who's not here, you can't bring them back. Now you're in this deep depression that's dragging you down. Not only that, it's like when they say on the airplane, put your mask on first because you can't take care of anybody else. If there's other people depending on you, now you got the ripple effect. So you got to be careful about that. And I get it. Usually around November, I start to feel that way because it's my mom's birthday. And, it's my birthday. My parents always call me on my birthday for as long as I can remember. So I get it. Christmas in my house when I was growing up in North Philly was a big deal. We all made it home for Christmas. When I was in college and my brothers were in the service, we all made it home. Christmas was a thing that we made it for. So I get it. But it's a time where you gotta, if you know somebody like that, you gotta pour into them and invest in them and try to, think about who's here. Because somebody asked me, a good friend of mine said, hey, he lost both his grandmothers. And know what I told him? I asked myself, how can I honor my parents? How can I live my life in such a way that I can honor the memory of my parents? Whether it's through Toy Store, back in my neighborhood where my father gave out a lot of stuff, with food, sending stuff down the street. It was the Thanksgiving stuff we do. Whether it's just helping people out. So there's different ways that you can try to combat it. But, nobody can tell you not to feel a certain way because we're all human. But you can't stay there.
I think you made some pretty great points, when it comes to, how to try to deal with that depression. Again, nobody can tell you how to feel. Or
they can't.
Yeah, but I think the one thing you said that I love is how can you honor that lost individual? You know what I mean? Whether that is giving and helping out somebody else, or if it's because it may not necessarily be your parents. It could be a sibling or somebody else, and it's that is a loved one or a spouse.
I looked around Saturday.
You can do things for their family or other people.
I looked around Saturday, and this was the second toy store without Dana. Who has made every one. I remember him being sick. He makes them. So I missed him. I missed him. The encouragement. I missed everything he did. Making us laugh, stuff with the music, whatever, just helping out. Yeah, but you know what? I can honor him by doing it to excellence. I can honor him by making it the best possible thing I could do. That's how you kind of get out of the funk. Because I know he wouldn't want me, my mom wouldn't want me, my dad. They wouldn't want me sitting around doing nothing, not honoring not giving anything out, not helping anybody. That's not honoring them. Especially the way Dana lived his life. He touched so many people. I'm still running to people who telling me stories. So that's not honoring him by me sitting down not doing anything. And as far as we talk, Isaac talked about the pressure of giving. I think you joked about it, but we've all been there. You start dating when you first get married, the pressure again. But that's self-inflicted pressure. Because if you're dating somebody that's putting that pressure on you, dump them. Dump them now. No, I'm serious. Because because if you do it now,
hey, baby,
you will be broke all your life because the stakes only get higher.
I need that. I need that extra.
But you don't. But I mean, you need to have somebody that understands where you are in life, where you are financially. What you're trying to accomplish. Those type of things are important because, if you saving for a house and she want to buy a Porsche, well, baby, we ain't sleeping in the Porsche. We gonna look good, but we ain't sleeping in there.
Porsche has a hotel.
Porch. And when you, hopefully as we get older, and we're talking to the next generation, we're teaching those things. I mean, Isaac is on here. His son-in-law was there. He had people there. So, what you saw there was generations giving back.
Yeah.
And that's what, to get back to the impact of Christmas. But the other side of it is, that's the best way to me to honor somebody. Look, man. Say, look, hey, I'm going to live my life in such a way that'll make them proud, man. How can I honor them? Because my dad was a giver. My mom was the same way. Mr. Dana was the same way.
People may have been a part of organizations that you can give to, or done some type of volunteer work that you could be a part of.
Isaac took it back to Powell. Like I said, we had people from McClure School who took it back to McClure School. So to your point, it is spread. It's going forward. I had people come. Somebody came to me and said, look, you're a nonprofit. Yeah. They said, I'm going to try to get you $10,000 next year. So it's because they like what we were doing. people are saying, hey, how can I get involved? Sophia was like, yo, whatever you do next. So now when I have the next couple of things, when I do my Cabrini event next year, same thing. I'm going to call on people. When I do my thing back at the Discovery Center, I'm going to call on people. That's how you build up the momentum. And Christmas can be a launch, an impact for all that, because when people see people doing stuff and enjoying it, it becomes infectious. People are like, man, I can do that. And it was so much fun. I mean, so I think that's what it has to become. But on the same token, I'll say it again. If you're dating somebody that's telling you got to put a dollar amount on it, what's that song? If you don't put a ring on it, guess what? You ain't that song.
That's what they say. Some people living like that,
But that's not a healthy relationship because
I'm living like that too, but it's different. If we get 200 a piece,
let me tell you, man, I'm too old for that. 200 a piece. What I have, your mom and I built together. And our Christmas is, to me, and first time I've ever saying this out loud, I am so proud because every Christmas has gotten better. Yeah. Which is the way it's supposed to be. And I'm not saying
I feel like all of our Christmases have been great. I can't.
And I'm not saying this in a braggadocious way, but to look at my wife and say, hey, what do you need? She says, well, I don't need anything. And I can say the same thing. Yo, that's a blessing.
You heard that, right?
That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
The return. So
your mom is watching, so you better. Your mom is watching, so y'all better. So plus, let's get it straight.
We don't need nothing.
But we're the gift that keeps. But we're the gift that keeps on giving.
That's a parent's
yeah. Which is we year-round Christmas,
and especially around
your
Christmas.
Mom is watching. Look, we the gift that keep. No, but I just think it can be contagious. To answer your question, I think we just need to be more purposeful about treating people like we like to be treated, not just on Christmas. And that's why in my devotion today, which you didn't read the whole thing, you kind of shot through. But that's why I talked. But that's why I specifically mentioned that we got to stop saying that it's the reason for the season, because it shouldn't be a season. To your point, it should be year round. I shouldn't just be nice to my neighbor because it's Christmas time. I should be nice to them in June, July, August. I should be. I shouldn't just be nice to homeless people in the wintertime. No, it should be a year-round thing. So I do think we got to stop saying it's the reason for the season, because it should be present year-round. And it should be at the center of each and everything we do. And that's how it becomes contagious. Because you get people working together and say, I'm doing this here, you can do that here. We can start working together.
Yeah. And like kind of about what you just said, it's like it's less of, man, I'm doing this because it's the time of the year.
Yeah.
And it's, man, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do and I want to do it for people.
The Brothers Strawberry Magic give out food and I'm not saying it because I say it every meeting I go to. Every Saturday on the corner, get rain, shine, whatever, giving out food to help people. Because people starving every year. People just ain't starving at Christmas time.
Right. Or Thanksgiving. It's all year round.
But that's what I mean. So we got to stop saying it's the reason for the season. It's the
people in need all
it's
year
the
round.
Season for giving. All the nice cliches that we have. No, it should be year round. You should be. I should be able to hold the door for somebody year round. I should be able to walk in a mall and you have year round and not feel like, if I get too close to this person, everybody's like all tense. I went to pick up a hoodie, and it was kind of congested. I found a place that imported hoodies. I was going to get one follower, so I got to go back. But I wanted to pick up a hoodie.
That's matching?
Nah, you know how we got to, but they, like, I was going to get AABM, I was going to get them embroidered. But anyway, embroidered. I was in there and it was kind of crowded. And, typically when it's crowded, people
bump.
Nah, everybody was laughing and joking like, hey, no problem, no problem. The guy behind the counter, he was making money, of course, though. He was like, hey, bro.
Come on in.
Yeah, he was. But I mean, it was different. It was different because every store, when I was waiting, I went back to check something out and people like, oh, excuse me, sorry, you okay, kind of thing. It's just a different vibe.
Yeah.
Versus, what you looking at? Kind of, you're on my space, give my room.
Like, what is it?
I don't know.
But I definitely feel like there's certainly an impact of Christmas. I think we touched and talked about like so many different areas of kind of the impact, whether that is just the giving aspect or just the mentality that people have in volunteering.
What Christmas would do for me, and this is a little hint for y'all. No, it is. Christmas is one of those things that you get to learn about the person you're with. It does. You learn a lot about the person that you're with. That, are they giving or are they selfless or selfish? You do. You learn about them because to me, I get it when you don't have, but when you have and you don't share, you don't bless others. That's a travesty. That's a crime, man. And it is. It's a shame when you come from somewhere and you struggle. You get God blesses you to put you in a position to give back, and you don't. Mom and I tell you, we pray every day, may the blessings flow to us and through us. I never want to get to the point where I'm just holding on to blessings. I never want to get to that point. We adopted 2 families after Toy Store, to make sure they could give. Yeah, you came down to time out to help when we were getting the stuff. The lady walked up and gave me $20, and she said, "You got to be doing something good." Remember, we went Five Below getting some of the stuff together. The lady behind them, we got to take your picture because the tape register. It just and everybody was nice and laughing and joking. They were working their butts off too. So it has the impact. So when you're with somebody, that doesn't matter, man, because how are you impacting people? It's hard to do when somebody with you is not doing it. So, and it makes it just more better. I enjoy Christmas. I love being around my family. I do. We have, Christmas is cool with us. We enjoy it. It's one of the things that we do. But I think it can become contagious. It just has to be purposeful, man. More people got to say, you know what? And not just Christmas. I'm going to put myself aside and I'm going to do something for somebody else. Like you said, if everybody that got something from us on Saturday left there and blessed somebody else, look at the momentum you have.
Yeah, a ton.
Look at the momentum you have right there in the eye.
Because they would just kind of continue and then tell that next person, hey, pay it for it.
Just like they ran down and tell people where they got the toys from. Yo, up the hill. Just like the lady who came and you helped her inside the truck. When you said the last one of the people who came and you gave them stuff. You didn't have to do that.
It was just like
you could have said, "Well, hey, you got to go all the way up this hill and check in." No, I mean, but that's the thing that's impactful to people because I bet she remembers that.
For sure.
A young black man, took care of her.
Yeah.
Didn't say, "Well, man, we just gonna hold on."
Give her a hard time. Like, no, we got these toys. You're late.
Why do you come?
Yeah, right. And that's why I'm in a mindset now because I used to bring a lot back to give out the next year. No, I'm in a mindset now. You know what? God's going to bless. We're going to do it again.
Just
He puts us in a position that we can, and then we went and we bought stuff. So, but that was God put me in a position to be able to do that through the nonprofit, which is what the nonprofit was formed for. So that's the stuff that's impacting people. Some kid, some mom is going to tell some kid, what's going on.
Yes.
And hopefully that kid grows up and he cares. Somebody's like, Chris comes back to this community. Like I said, I used to come down there all the time. That's powerful for a little kid, man, who think I can't wait to get out of here and I ain't never coming back.
Ask about the next year, like, you know what I mean? Like, where is it going to be at? What can I do? Things.
I can't spill the beans because my plans for next year. I already have it. We've been talking about that. So next year's going to be bigger and better. But just like we're going to be out there in June. We'll be out there in June, the Discovery Center, the team, the leadership thing I have. I want a bunch of people to come. I would love to have some women and some young ladies so they could be together, have those conversations. I would love to have more young men and some older men so they can talk about life and do the things we did last year. I think that's what it's about. But that's the next step from Christmas.
Yeah.
Remember the feeling you had at Christmas? Come out and give it again. Whether it's the MLK Service Day. The opportunities we provide because you want it to become contagious. You want it to grow. You want it to be each one teach one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely do. And I think that is something that we're going to continue to do. I feel like we've been doing that for the past, 10 plus years. And, we can continue to talk about that and hopefully get some of our viewers and followers to buy in and either come help us out, donate, support us in some type of way, or do it in your local area because we do have listeners from different parts of the world.
So let me close with this story. You remember Ted Josie?
Yeah.
Devin don't because Devin was too young. But Ted Josie was the guy who gave me my start in nonprofit. I was dog tired. He said, "Your Sunday, I need you to come out on Sunday." He had a little testimony and speaking his testimony. And Ted's a great guy. I would do anything for him. But I'm going to tell you this is how God works it out. The money we spent, we did, to invest in those 2 families, afterwards, I got back the next day. The next day. And at the same time, it was such a good feeling being able to do something for somebody who did something for me 20 years ago. Because we were thinking about it. Hype was like 2001, man. I was like, I didn't realize it was that long ago. You old man. Because Hype was like 2001. And I'm like, man. Here we are, 2024. And I run into people from Hype who talk about, yo, I'm glad y'all talked about this. I got this. Man, I remember this. You told me this. I remember that. It's amazing the stuff you do for people that sow seeds and this, I say this all the time. It sow seeds is going to outlive you. And that's what this is about. You should live your life sowing seeds is going to live longer than you. Things you do should outlive you. If you die and everything you've done die, then you haven't lived a good life.
Legacy.
So the next thing is who's taking over Toy Store next. We were laughing. I was talking to Pastor Lonzo John. We were laughing like, I got to get somebody to kind of start to take leadership on this thing, man. And so I can shift to the backdrop. I got to get some young boys to get out and say, yo, I got it, man.
Is that his pitch? That's his pitch for us to take
no,
this over.
But you know what? I would love for it to stay in the family. I would the perfect scenario for me would be to form a board.
I told you next year that I want to make it something that's bigger. And it's like, I want to be pulled in.
Because you want it to have the same attitude. I don't want it to get like somebody came to me last year and said, man, we went to this one place and they wanted to see proof of income. Or
proof of income?
Yeah, because people do it. But, what's your zip code? And there's people who do that. There's people who do that. But you shame people when you do that. Why you got to shame somebody who needs something?
Yeah.
That's not what it's about. And if somebody comes who don't need it, that's between them and God. That ain't going to do with me.
Yeah,
I'm just going to do what I'm called to do, and I think Christmas. You know how the lives you get, and I say it again. So many people get impacted by just a small generosity that you put out at Christmas time. I told you at the wedding time when I held the door for the lady.
That happens all the time.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, yeah." She went from running to like, "Oh, I'm so." I'm trying to teach my boys that and everything.
Like I saw that the other day. This guy was holding the door for this. I know
you were about the time, man.
And she was like. She just was like, oh my gosh, like this, I wasn't expecting that. And I was like, man, wasn't expecting that for somebody to hold the door for you.
On the flip side, some people don't say thank you. And
that's exactly why I don't hold the door.
Yeah, but you know what? I got to say, I do agree with you. But do you do it because you want to say thank you or you do it because it's the right thing to do?
Yeah. A little bit of both. I want both.
Your mom was watching. Your mom was watching. Y'all had that conversation.
A little bit of both. But that's funny. But then I just wanted to kind of close on this one thing that resonated today, and I wanted to be sure to kind of reiterate it because it is the holiday season, and of course, we're fortunate, blessed enough to kind of have each other around this time, and not everybody necessarily has that. So just kind of to your point, making sure finding a way that you can kind of pay it, not even just pay it forward, but my mind is going blank. Doing what with these people? You said it earlier.
Pay it forward.
No, it's not pay it forward. Just remember them in a way.
Yeah, legacy.
Like just in some type of way. Like you can do something to honor that individual. There it is. So yeah, I think that's something that you can do to try to get yourself out of that depression.
What was the question?
No, we're just closing out.
Closing out. So just closing out. I've always been one of them people, like especially later in my years. I just literally enjoy giving back. I've been one of the people that lately that I just don't really know what I want or want much for Christmas. So just to have the ability to give back and, like you said, pay it forward and inspire people to do better is just a true meaning for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about, for me, and since I'm the older statesman here, I was in a meeting. We were interviewing somebody, and she was going. She first time I've ever been asked this question, which is a great question, by the way. She asked us, "Why were we there? Why were we with the company? Why?" And everybody was hesitate. I didn't have to hesitate, man. I'm doing what I was born to do. I'm doing that my God-given purpose. And that becomes contagious. I was with a group of students today. In Norristown, we were having conversations about certain things, and I'm thinking to myself, like, man, here I am, this kid, skinny kid from North Philadelphia, who probably growing up didn't have a big range. So I was pretty good in sports. Now, I got the toy store. We got the toy store. I'm sitting there, I'm touching people. I'm shaping people's lives. I'm planting seeds is going to outlive me. That's amazing when you think about it.
Yeah.
That is definitely, and also is a walking, living testimony of the goodness of God. It is, because I think about, man, how people who were smarter than me, maybe better athletes, and they did nothing with it. Mm-hmm. How many people go through life with talents and gifts and do nothing? And I'm happy. I can truly say I'm happy. I have, I got a great family. I know how I feel about my grandson, so we ain't got to go there, right?
My dude,
my dude. But I'm blessed. I am. And I know I can honestly say, with all dust up, my parents will be proud of me. They'll be proud of the men you've become. The woman Nicole has become. And that's all about legacy, man. About what we leave behind. I think that's what we got to get to the point where that's what we live our life for.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't just. And I tell guys of my age or my group, our lives is not just about us.
Nope.
It's about all who follow us. And Martin Luther King, and this is my last point. Martin Luther King, his "I Have a Dream" speech. People don't talk about this, but the dream wasn't just for him.
Nah.
He talked about America. He talked about his kids. He talked about America. It wasn't a selfish dream.
It was for society.
Yeah,
it was like bigger than himself.
And that's what we got to start thinking. I think if more people start to think like that, it becomes global. And it starts a movement.
And then, to that point, I think, it yields a lot more benefits when you do it for somebody other than yourself.
Yeah.
So thank you all for tuning in tonight to Above Average Black Man. Hopefully, you picked up something from this conversation. I think we definitely talked about a lot of different things here tonight.
We gotta figure out how to
but that's another thing. A lot of comments came through, and for some reason we can't see them right here. So I apologize to y'all. Somebody been blowing this up.
I tried to get them on my phone. I couldn't get it.
But thank you all. Happy holidays from the Penders. Above Average Black Man. We'll see you guys. Are we here next week? It's a holiday.
Next week ain't a holiday. It's the day between New Year's and Christmas. See you next week at the same time, man. Be blessed.
I wonder if it's something you could do in the settings.